Hello people, Awesome50 back again just to do another video, and today I'm going to talk about gaming addiction. Yes, I've spoke about gaming addiction last year in the past and the negative consequences of gaming addiction, but this video is in fact about gaming addiction and what isn't gaming addiction, okay? So I think in the UK it was around 2018 or 2019, could have been a bit later. Gaming addiction was recognised as technically like a disease. Okay, so what I'm seeing is, and I've seen a lot of people, they're getting tired with the brush of having a gaming addiction, even though they do not have a gaming addiction. What a gaming addiction is where someone will play video games all day, pretty much every day, and neglects their responsibilities and their own health. For example, if you've got a gaming addiction, you cannot stop turning the game on. You can't ever leave playing the game because you think some detrimental thing will happen, even though it is negatively on you anyway. For example, if you don't eat anything, you don't put the heating on in your house, you don't go to work, you don't pay your bills, if you're at school and you don't go to school, and all these factors, then yeah, you may have a gaming addiction. It's possible. But the people that do not have a gaming addiction are hardcore gamers, okay? They don't have a gaming addiction. But people that don't play games will label it, oh, they've got a gaming addiction, they can't stop. Fuck, no, they just like playing games. Just leave them alone. I mean, it's like I've been watching a few documentaries now on gaming addiction, and I'm not really seeing anything addictive by it. I mean, I've seen a couple where people are very, very mentally ill, and they have a gaming addiction, but and I'm not saying gaming addiction isn't a thing. It is a thing. But what people are doing is they're trying to say, oh, he's got a gaming addiction. No, he's probably they've probably already got issues anyway. They've probably got issues anyway that are manifesting to dragging them to a gaming addiction. Okay. So I watched a couple of documentaries, and bear in mind, people, this could be a controversial video. I don't know if you, but I'm just being honest. Whatever I say now, it could be taken wrong, but I don't care. I feel like I have to say this because I'm a hardcore gaming enthusiast, but I don't have a gaming addiction. I can stop playing at any time. I don't even play that much as opposed to most people. So anyway, just before I start my little story, I'm just going to say I do not have children or anything like that. People which know me know I don't have children, but I have been a child. I've grown. I'm 32 years old. I've been a child. I've been around when gaming became the biggest thing on the fucking planet. Okay. So basically, I'm watching documentaries, and it's kind of funny because all these documentaries are that most of them are pretty aimed at children for some reason, and I don't really think kids really have that much gaming addiction anyway. They just play games because they do because it's available. Okay. So anyway, I watched one documentary, and it's kind of funny. You see, I'm not going to name the documentary. I'm not going to say any names either, people. I'm not doing anything like that. You've either seen the documentary I've seen or you haven't. Okay, because I don't want to go down that road. But anyway, it's kind of funny because I'll see on these documentaries it shows a kid playing Fortnite. They all play Fortnite, shit game, and the parents are like, oh, he doesn't go to school, or he can't turn the game off, he's non-responsive, or he doesn't play out with his mates, or he doesn't go camping, he doesn't go fishing anymore, he doesn't play football. What? I mean, that that isn't a gaming issue. He's not going to school. You're his parents. How is he not going to school? Kids have to go to school. There isn't a choice in that. So the video game has not stopped your child from going to school. So what I just don't get it. No game stops a child from going to school. No game stops a grown adult going to work. That's your choice, you know. And then I also saw another documentary where the mother's saying, "Oh, he stole money from me to buy V Bucks to buy different skins for his character on Fortnite." And I'm thinking, what? Wait, what? This isn't a case where a child can go into mother's purse and steal money. Let's buy some V Bucks. Fuck no! It has to be a bank transfer into the game with authorization, and then it's in-game currency then, and then you buy the skin. So he can't have just stole, unless he's got the purse, looked at the card, and stole money from the card, and then bought the V-Bucks. But you know what, people, I'm not a rich person or anything like that, but I've got basic online banking where I know immediately if money comes out of my bank account. The second, like that, money comes out of my bank account, ping, I get a notification, money's come out your bank account immediately. So how can the parents like not crack down on this? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, and they're saying, "Oh, he won't eat. Oh, he won't go to school. Oh, he won't do this. Oh, I don't know what his future is going to be like." And then I saw one. This was hilarious. One of the parents is saying, "Oh, he's took up video game addiction because what's drawn him to doing that is us getting a divorce." Bear in mind, this is the mum and dad talking. We're getting a divorce, and I'm thinking to myself, well, how's about that isn't a gaming addiction. That's your child wanting to get away from the parents' like domestic issues with themselves. So if two parents are screaming and shouting at each other and the threats of divorce are flying around, that's probably mentally impaired a child and made them retreat into the bedroom, their safe area, to play video games. So rather than saying, "Oh, my child's got a gaming addiction," look at the parents. You know, stop screaming and shouting at each other. Keep it a bit quieter. Take it outside. Fucking go away from your children, and then have your domestic. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them. Yeah, controversial video this may be, whatever. And then the best part is, and now I'm going to go away from speaking about children and gaming addiction now, and I'm going to move on to adults and gaming addiction. Now, it's kind of funny. I watched one guy, I'm not going to say the name, I almost said it then. And it says he plays video games for 13 hours a day, blah, 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 blah. And okay, yeah, that's a little excessive. He doesn't have a job. That's still bad. He started playing games throughout the pandemic. Well, didn't everybody? Because you couldn't leave the house. And it's like, but the guy at the end of the documentary, well, actually, they wanted to send him to a retreat. Like, it was like a detox for video games or whatever. He refused at the end. And then everyone was against him, saying, "You're not the same person, man. You're just killing yourself." And it's like, no, he's not. And at the end of the video, he quit playing games. So what I'm trying to say is, people, is because video game addiction is now a thing, quote unquote. You've got to think with this video game retreat or addiction retreat or any like people going to therapists for video game addiction or anything like that. There's a lot of people making money from this. If I could go to a therapist and say, "Yeah, I've got a gaming addiction," and they'll be like, "Oh, okay," and they'll therapize me if there's such a word as that. They'll give me the therapy, and then I'll give them X, Y, and Z amount of pounds or dollars in America, whatever. So there's an illness, a disease, and someone's making money from it, and it's always the people that are trying to save the person. Okay, you see where I'm going with this? Anybody? You know, video games have been around for a long time. Oh, and while I'm on this subject, you never hear addictions like reading a book addiction. You never see playing sports addiction. People play sports, people play football or whatever. They run around, they pull muscles, they break bones, they play X, Y, and Z. They're outside, they're playing games like football matches or cricket or baseball in America or basketball. People play them all the time, but there's never an addiction for that. Oh no, because that can't be an addiction because that's so good. So basically, the mass of people which don't understand video games are saying that's an issue, but then they don't look at the things they do and think that's an issue. So let's just say, for example, hypothetically speaking, let's just say you've got one person has a gaming addiction, and you've got one person next to them who's a workaholic. Okay, what's worse? Oh no, it has to be gaming addiction, always, doesn't it? It always is that. And these people, like therapists as well, people that are talking about gaming addiction and all this shit, they've never played a game in their life. They don't even know what gaming is. So you've got people which don't understand anything about gaming commenting about games and saying how bad it is, and they've never done it themselves. So how can someone tell someone they've got a gaming addiction when they don't even know the only thing they know about a video game is people playing it? That's it. They don't know anything about games or anything about gaming addictions, and then they're labeling it pretty quick. It's just nonsense. You know, it's one of them, like, what? This is how I've looked at things as an adult. If I'm off on a weekend, off work on a weekend, what's better, in my opinion? Going out, going around pubs, drinking excessive amounts, and staying up until 5 o'clock in the morning partying, or or staying up all night playing a video game inside. What is more healthy? I'd say I'd rather stay inside play video games. I'm away from danger. I'm not getting intoxicated in any way, shape, or form. I'm just playing some games just to unwind, a bit stressed, you know. And yeah, people, when they say they have video game addictions, they say that, oh, they go into a different world to escape reality. Well, I'm not, come on. Yeah, they do. That's the whole point. But don't people do that when they sit there for hours on end reading books? But for some reason, it, let's just say, for example, you're playing a video game and then you've got a non-fiction book. Well, it's a non-fiction book. That's not real either. And it was a video game. But for some reason, gaming seems to be worse than that. Don't think so. I think it's around the same. But because books are great and everyone who reads books are great people or whatever, it has to be gaming that's got an issue. Come on. And again, it was kind of funny as well because I watched one of these documentaries and it shows the child playing video games. And it's like they're playing on a brand new PS5. And it's like, wow, the parents must have bought them that. And it's kind of funny as well because at the same time, in the background, I could see a packet of fags on the side, a packet of cigarettes. So I'm thinking, you're saying your child's got a gaming addiction, but you've got cigarettes on the side, so you're clearly addicted to nicotine, smoking cigarettes. And let me tell you, that'll kill you. Not video games, that won't kill you. So it's just hypocritical, really. Ridiculous. It's like It's like, imagine if you've got one guy that likes to play video games all the time, but you've got another person that's a high functioning alcoholic. It seems to be video games seems to be worse. Imagine if you were a high functioning alcoholic and a gamer at the same time. Or no, it would have been like, video games have turned him into alcoholism. Again, bullshit. It's just not true. Now, the back end of this video as well, people, is yeah, video game addiction. It is actually a thing. I'm not. This video isn't. I did a video about gaming addiction last year. This isn't me doing a U-turn. This isn't me doing a full 360. This is me just reaffirming what I said last time. Uh, there's a lot of people out there being branded for being a gaming addict when they are not. And trust me, gamers like myself fucking know this. We can see this. We know we're more experienced in gaming addiction than, uh, you know, anybody. All game. It's like a football player knows more about football than a doctor that's never played football in their life. It's just true because it's called experience. You can't get that in a book, you know. Or well, you can. They'll know about injuries associated with the sport, but that doesn't mean you'd go to. That doesn't mean you get a doctor to coach a team of football players. Do you know what I mean? Just because they're doctors, you'd get the person that knows the most about football to be in charge of the training of football. It's just common sense. So when you've got a therapist that's saying, "Oh yeah, they've got game addiction," and when they're saying, "Oh, the brains are still developing," or "Gaming addiction is killing," I actually saw something. One of them said, "Gaming addiction, it kills brain cells," and I'm like, right, okay. But the said doctor probably kills brain cells drinking whiskey. You know, it's ridiculous, and you know, brain cells get killed anyway daily, so you can't really just blame that on like video games. You know, we've got lots of empty brain cells, so it's just absolutely ridiculous. A gaming addiction is a serious thing. People that have gaming addictions usually, uh, they're usually very reclusive people that don't go to work, that don't have a social life, don't have a girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever, and their life revolves around playing games to the point where they neglect themselves, where their life is in danger. For example, if I were to play video games 24/7, never sleep, never eat, never shower or take a bath. Uh, you know, always have no money because I don't go to work. Uh, that is video game addiction, and that's very very serious. I once knew a guy who had a video game addiction to GTA. Well, no, actually, I'm not going to say the game. It was the online. I think we're called. Uh, actually, I'm not allowed to. I probably can't say the game. I'm probably not allowed to say the game, but it was the online GTA game, which wasn't the GTA, which wasn't from Rockstar, basically. You know, it was like a mod of the GTA. You'll know what I mean, people. I can't say the name of the game. I'm probably not allowed to. But and his job where he was in like the mafia in the game, and it was online, purely online. But he was like high ranking in it. So after work, he had to log on to the game. He could not be on the game. He had to be on every day. It was like a second job for him, and he was taking time off work to do this. And the guy never played video games ever in his life, but then he got hooked onto this game because he had an injury to his leg from playing football, or it was his back, or something like that. And then he discovered video games and got addicted. And yeah, that is a thing that was pretty serious. You know, even I tried like helping out, but yeah, that's an addiction which can be overcome. But then there's lots of things in life where we're throwing the word gaming addiction out there quite loosely, as if you know, as though it is what it is. It's like we're taking away what real gaming addiction is what I've just mentioned, to the lesser aspects to a natural gamer. So it's like, what's the difference between a hardcore gamer and a gaming addict? Well, a hardcore gamer just loves playing games. It's their hobby. They love it. They're interested in the game. They can't stop talking about games. They want to watch videos about the games. They might even wear like gaming t-shirts and stuff like that. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a gaming addiction. That just means you love video games. What's wrong with that? There's nothing. It's not an addiction. But I once saw this. I saw another documentary where it said like, oh, he used to. Oh, this was about the guy, the older guy. I said the adult, and his sister or something saying, "Oh, we used to enjoy going fishing all the time." Okay, so let me get this straight. People that go fishing all the time, and now I'm not saying there's anything wrong with fishing. I'm not saying that. This is just an example. But let's just say if this person went fishing 3 times a week, got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, stayed there for 10 hours a day, going fishing, but didn't catch anything, and we just sat there fishing for 10 hours a day. But no one will turn around and say, oh, he's got a fishing addiction. He keeps going fishing. Why? If someone off work, or, you know, when they finish work or it's a weekend or whatever, and they spend 3 hours reading a book, they take a break, do whatever, and then spend another 3 hours reading a book, that's never like, you know, called reading addiction, is it? It's just people don't see it like that. But when it comes to playing video games, it seems to be something horrendous. And the people that are making this sound horrendous are the people that don't know anything about video games. So just because it's something someone doesn't understand, it has to be bad because they don't understand it, if that makes sense. So if you get someone that's never played video games before and hates video games just by looking at them, and then they see someone who loves playing video games and spends some of the free time playing video games, it's automatically assumed to be a terrible thing. You know, it's like me, for example. When I'm driving to work, the odd time at like 5 o'clock in the morning, well, 5:30 in the morning, I might see someone jogging in the morning. But in my opinion, that's why would you do that? Like when you're jogging on like the pavement, you're injuring your knees, your feet, and your hips. This is like long-term damage you could be doing. Plus, you're wasting valuable calories, which will get you through the day at that start in the morning. But that's not an issue. But if someone were to get up an hour early before they went to work and played a video games for an hour, that'd be seen as something terrible. A lot of people think video games are unproductive. Of course they are. It's a hobby. Some hobbies aren't productive, you know. I do video game streams. I find it productive. Some people find it stupid. There's some people which are interested in painting. They'll paint pictures and portraits, and they'll spend hours painting portraits. And it's not like they're going to get any money from it. It's not like the portraits are going to be put in a museum, but they'll spend hours doing it. But that's creative, and that isn't an addiction. It's healthy. But when it comes to video games, it's not really healthy. It's damaging. It ruins your brain. No, it doesn't. It's just a hobby. If you're managing to keep up with your responsibilities and you like to play games in your free time, you're not neglecting your family, you're not neglecting your responsibilities, you just play video games just to kill some time. Maybe you work Monday to Friday and you have Saturday, Sunday off. What's wrong with a Saturday afternoon, maybe 6 hours, just catching up on your favourite game? Why is that so bad? It's not, and it isn't video game addiction. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing games pretty much all my life, and ever since I was a child, I were. If anything, when I was a child, it was better staying in playing video games than playing out and getting into trouble. You know, because at least when you're inside, you're safe. When you're outside, you're not safe. Not really, anyway, because there's anything could happen. You could get hit by a car outside. You could get mugged or robbed outside. Oh, hell, it could even start raining outside and you get ill. So staying inside and playing video games doesn't sound so bad compared to that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So don't get me wrong, video game addiction is a serious thing. Yeah. But there's a lot of people out there being branded as being video game addicts when they're actually not. They just want to enjoy playing video games. But if they play games too much, God forbid, they get tarred with this brush that they have a problem, that they have a disease, when they do not have a disease and they don't have a problem. People just like playing games. God, I work a shift. I work 3 on, 3 off. 3 days working, 3 days off, 12 hours. In them 3 days I'm working, I don't play any video games. When I get home from work, I start at 6 in the morning and I finish at 6 at night. I get in about 7 o'clock and then I watch TV, then go to bed. I don't even play any games. Simply because I know I don't have the time to get invested into a video game. I like a good few hours to have a good gaming session. You know, a couple hours won't do me. So I'd rather save them couple of hours after work, which would be 6 hours in itself after the 3 days. So let's say if I went to bed 2 hours after I got in, or 3 hours, and then use them hours to put them into like a day off and have 6 hours gaming on one of my days off. Yes, I do streams, but I've done my stream for today, 3 hours. I'm not going to play anything else today, and I'm a hardcore gamer. That's because I've got work tomorrow. So I don't, at this time now, I don't want to get too invested into a video game when I have other stuff to do. I've got to go to shopping, I've got to clean the house, I've got to prepare my food for tomorrow, I've got to do the laundry, prepare my work uniform and my clothes, and I've got all that shit to do. I know I have that shit to do because I'm not a gaming addict. But yesterday, I will happily spend probably 8 hours level grinding on Lords of the Fallen because I've just finished Elden Ring, you see, beaten Consort Radahn, just have to throw that out there. But yeah, I'm level grinding just a tiny bit because I'm a bit stuck. So I did a stream yesterday that stopped, and then I did whatever I were doing, other stuff, going out, whatever, and then I come back and I level grind for a bit on, Lords of the Fallen, just a little bit, Me being on this e-cig's worse than gaming addiction. So basically what I'm trying to say to people is I did do a video last year about video game addiction, and I'm not doing a U-turn. I fully stand by everything I said last year with my gaming addiction video, 100%. But all this video is like an update to that video to tell you what video game addiction is and what it isn't. Now then, if you have, let's just say hypothetically speaking, you have a child, for example, and they were being destructive, angry, losing the temper playing a video game, then yeah, that is a serious issue. That is definitely a serious issue. But that isn't the video games issue. That's the personal issue. People say there's a saying, patience is a virtue. No, it's not. That is not true. Patience is a skill. It takes skill to be patient in stressful situations, especially if you're losing. It takes skill. For any gamer out there, anyone who's played a From Software game, let's just say the game Elden Ring, you need patience to play that game because you're going to get destroyed. If you keep losing your temper in that game, you will not get good. To play a game like that, you have to master yourself before you can master that game. So that's not gaming addiction that's creating these problems. The problems were already there. So if you have someone who's losing their temper and being aggressive over playing a video game, take the video game out of the equation. Let's say they're playing football, they'd still have that same aggression and lack of patience doing that. So they'll have the same lack of patience and they'd lose their temper, lack of temper, when doing other things other than video games. But for some reason, it's video games that get slandered for it. Okay, this is just food for thought, people, and it could be controversial. But what I'm saying is, there's people that do have a gaming addiction, there's people that don't. Now, I understand there's symptoms of gaming addiction. Yes, there are symptoms, but just acknowledge them, you know. Don't just rush to the conclusion and start branding someone as a gaming addict. Because when you call someone an addict, they mentally think they're ill. I'm an addict, I'm ill. When they're not ill at all. You know, it's just a hobby. Everything in the world is addictive if you like it, you know, everything. I like eating pizza. Am I a pizza addict? No, I just like eating pizza. Have I put weight on eating pizza? Probably. Should I work on not eating as much pizza? Yeah, I am working on it. But, you know, I'm not addicted to it. Do I like to have a beer every now and then? Yeah, I do. But I'm not an alcoholic. You know? Do I like having a lie-in and oversleeping sometimes? Yeah. But that doesn't mean I'm mentally depressed that I can't get out of bed and there's background issues why I like to stay in bed for an extra 2 hours. There isn't. I was just tired and I wanted to stay in bed longer. That doesn't mean I'm a sleep addict. Okay? I'm going to call this video off now because it's actually gone on a lot longer than I thought it would do. But I'm just trying to clear things up. It's a controversial video, whatever. And I'm not saying that a doctor doesn't know anything about addiction. I'm pretty sure a doctor knows a lot about addiction, especially a therapist. But people, you've got to understand, therapists are making money, again, off people with gaming addiction. Now, some countries don't recognize gaming addiction still. Okay, that's fair enough. But the countries that do, imagine when if gaming addiction first became a thing, that's actually worked. That's benefited from therapists because they're going to get paid to treat you for gaming addiction. Someone's making money here, and it's not you. So you'd be getting branded as an addict, and then a therapist is making quite a lot of money off you. It just seems a bit suspicious to me, you know. And the thing is, the future is among us, people. Video games are a thing. The digital world is a thing. People spend hours on end being addicted to social media sites such as Facebook, TikTok, stuff like that, X, which used to be Twitter. People will sit there happily. If people could count how many hours a day they spend on their phone, are they branded as addicts? No, they're not, are they? They're not. That isn't an addiction. Is it an addiction? Is it not an addiction because it hasn't been recognised yet? No. Was gaming addiction an addiction before it got recognised? No, people just like to play games too much, you know. So you have to look at other things in the world before you can brand somebody a gaming addict. And it's quite a harsh thing to say to someone, to accuse someone of being an addict and literally talk about them behind their back in a negative way. So what if someone wants to play games all day? If they've got no other responsibilities, what's wrong with that? You know, there's nothing wrong with it. When I was a kid, a lot of us all had the same video game. We'd play the video game, then talk about it with our friends at school. What's wrong with that? It kept us quiet and it kept us out of trouble. We didn't have a video game addiction. And when I was younger, bedtime was 10 o'clock. I didn't have a say in that. We went to, and then when I got older, like say when I was like 16, something like that, bedtime got extended to 11 o'clock. You know, that was it. I didn't have a say in it. I had good parents. I had very good parents. And I had respect for my parents. When they said, you turn off bedtime, I went to bed. If I was playing an online game and I was just in a match, I would say, please can I just stay up and have this last game? I can't pause the game, and a match roughly is around 10 to 15 minutes long. Because I was on such good behaviour and I would turn the game off, that I'd finish that last game, turn off, go to bed, school the next day. It was just there. I did it. That wasn't a video game addiction. I could have been playing video games since I finished school. Let's just say if I were playing video games from, I don't know, 6 till the actual bedtime, 10, 11 o'clock. That wasn't a gaming addiction. It was raining outside. I just didn't want to go outside. I had nothing better to do. So I played games and then I turned off and went to bed and carried on with my normal responsibilities going to school, which I do now, as in going to work. But that doesn't mean I was a gaming addict. But nowadays, that would be gaming addiction. You know? So basically, what I'm trying to say is there is such thing as gaming addiction. Yes, I fully agree. Do I believe hardcore gamers that play games probably too much have gaming addiction? No. Do I believe people that neglect their families, neglect their health, and, you know, stuff like that, play video games, who play video games too much like that, 24/7? Yeah, I do. I do think that's a gaming addiction because they're self-sabotaging their self. That's where it's an addiction and they still can't stop doing it. That's an addiction. People that like to play games a bit too much for a bit of fun, there's nothing wrong with that. People that spend all their time playing video games, which do have responsibilities but don't leave the house enough, that's still not an addiction. It's just a personal preference, you know? Most of the time, I'd rather stay in playing video games than, I don't know, go socializing with random people I don't know. It's a personal preference. I'm an introvert by nature. I'm not an extrovert. So for me, I would rather recharge my batteries by staying in and playing video games, ready for the next day, where I have to be an extrovert at work, for example. You know? Everyone is different. So I do think, yeah, there is such a thing as gaming addiction, but I also do think it's been taken out of context quite a lot. And I don't think it's fair people are being branded as addicts when they're actually not. Awesome50 out. I'm going to upload this video now. If it's controversial and it upsets too many people, man, I'll just delete the video. It doesn't bother me. But obviously you have to watch this video all the way through. I'm not saying that there's such thing as that gaming addiction doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it does exist. But what I'm saying is we can't just assume someone has a gaming addiction if the other person that's accusing them knows nothing about video games. You know what I mean? You have to have all your evidence to say someone has a video game addiction. Now, if you tell someone they've got a video game addiction and you keep saying it to them over and over and over again, the brain's going to hardwire and they're going to think, oh, actually, I do have an addiction. I do have a problem. It's what happens. It's called brainwashing. If you say something to someone too many times, they'll start to believe it. This is how pathological liars are pathological liars, because they lie that much to themselves, eventually start to believe it. So yeah, that was the longest video. Awesome50 out. And obviously, if this video is so bad, I'll delete it. I'll just delete it, or I don't even need to delete it. Just report it that many times, it'll get pulled down anyway. I'm just being honest. I play video games all the time. That's like me. Imagine if I was if I looked at someone who likes running and I said, oh, they've got a running addiction. People will be like, wait, what do you know? You don't even go running. You just stay at home playing games all day. Well, of course, because I'm wrong in that case, because I don't know anything about running. So with people who do know about video games, we kind of know what video game addiction does look like. You can't get a... it was kind of funny because I saw this old woman. I shouldn't say it like that. I saw one documentary. This old woman. She looked about 80, and she's there going on about video game addiction, how it's destroying kids' lives, and it's like you are the one person on this planet that probably doesn't know anything about video games. And I know a lot of older people do play video games. Full respect for them, but this woman, you could clearly tell, she was like. And she was like almost crying in the camera, saying it's destroying people's lives. And I'm like, you don't know anything. It's just your opinion. What it is you have the opinion of the many, because we live in a democracy. You have the opinion of the many, and they kind of outweigh the few. And us gamers seem to be being targeted left, right, and centre. It's kind of sickening. Kind of makes me sick. Anyway, awesome 50 out. You know, I finished gaming for today. I'm not a gaming addict. I'm not going to play anymore. I'm done. Or if I do, I'll just level grind a bit on Lloyd to the Fallen. I'll still be getting up for work tomorrow. You know, I'll still be paying my bills. I'll still be paying my mortgage. I'll still be paying tax. It's like paying I pay tax and I'm forced to do it. Does that mean I've got like a paying tax addiction? You know, I give to charity sometimes. Does that mean I'm addicted to giving to charity? No, it doesn't. It fucking doesn't. So neither does playing games for a few hours just to unwind. And when they say people escape from reality to play games, of course they do. How else am I going to kill a dragon? Not in real life, I'm not. Got to tune into Elden Ring to do that. And it's more realistic as well. Oh, awesome 50 out, people. Rant over. I'm sorry if this video offends anybody. I'm not saying I know everything, it's just my opinion. That's all. Just my opinion. Doesn't mean anything. No one will even watch this video anyway. Doesn't matter. If you don't like it, I'll pull it down. I won't leave it on here. Probably make another update next year. Who knows? Awesome 50 out.